You wake up busy, rushing through tasks, yet the day somehow feels unfinished. Your to-do list shrinks slowly, but your mental exhaustion grows faster. You try planning harder, waking earlier, forcing productivity through sheer determination. But something strange happens. The harder you push, the worse focus becomes. Most people think productivity fails because they lack discipline or motivation. But the real problem hides somewhere deeper inside modern attention economics. Your phone, notifications, and endless feeds quietly compete for your brain. And they are winning far more often than you realize. Here's the surprising part. Working harder rarely solves this attention crisis. In fact, relentless effort often destroys the focus you are trying to build. But a quiet Japanese philosophy discovered a different way centuries ago. A system that makes deep work feel almost effortless. The hidden problem with willpower. In Japan, there is a word called gammon, meaning patient endurance. But gammon never meant exhausting yourself through endless stubborn effort. It means enduring wisely, knowing when patience matters more than force. Quiet strength, not reckless self-pressure. Psychology research shows willpower behaves like a limited daily resource. Every decision drains a tiny piece of mental energy throughout day. Choosing breakfast, replying emails, resisting distractions slowly depletes focus reserves. By evening, most brains are already running on empty. That explains something you may have noticed in your own life. Morning focus feels clear, but evening discipline disappears surprisingly fast. Scrolling your phone suddenly feels irresistible after a long day. Not because you are lazy, but because your energy is spent. Here's where it gets interesting. Japanese productivity wisdom never relied heavily on raw willpower. Instead, it focused on designing environments where focus happens naturally, making the right action easier than the wrong one. The power of one daily highlight. In many Japanese workplaces, mornings begin with a short ritual. It's called chore, a simple gathering before the day truly begins. People pause briefly, align their intentions, and center their attention. The ritual lasts minutes, yet it changes the entire day's direction. This idea connects perfectly with a modern productivity concept called highlight. Before your day starts, choose one thing that truly matters today. Not 20 tasks, not a complicated schedule packed with obligations. Just one meaningful objective. Your highlight could be finishing an important assignment you avoided all week. It might be studying deeply without distractions for a full hour. It could even be spending intentional time with someone important. The task matters less than the clarity it brings. Because once you choose that highlight, something subtle changes mentally. Your day gains a center of gravity around that single priority. Other tasks still happen, but they orbit around what truly matters. Suddenly, your time stops feeling completely chaotic. But here's the hidden danger most people miss. Choosing a highlight means nothing if attention constantly gets interrupted. And modern technology is engineered precisely to break your concentration. Which leads us to the next principle. Protecting your attention like a samurai. Japanese martial artists train for years to reach a mental state. It's called mushin, often translated as no mind. In mushin, distractions disappear and awareness becomes completely focused. Only the task in front of you remains. Samurai understood something modern workers rarely consider. Focus does not come from fighting distractions repeatedly. It comes from removing distractions before the battle even begins. A quiet but powerful strategic shift. Think about how often your phone interrupts your concentration daily. You pick it up automatically, sometimes without realizing why. A quick check turns into 20 minutes lost in endless scrolling. Your attention slowly dissolves. The solution is surprisingly simple, yet incredibly powerful. During deep work, move distractions physically out of reach. Place your phone in another room. Close unnecessary browser tabs. Silence the digital noise before starting. Now, something fascinating begins to happen inside your brain. Without constant interruptions, your mind naturally sinks deeper into tasks. Focus stops feeling like a struggle requiring heroic discipline. It becomes the default state of your environment. Instead of battling distractions every minute, they simply disappear. And when attention becomes quiet, deep work finally becomes possible. This philosophy of calm, gradual improvement reflects something important. It's the same mindset behind the channel Quiet Growth. Real progress rarely comes from dramatic bursts of motivation. It comes from systems that compound silently every day. Why energy creates focus. Most productivity advice talks endlessly about focus techniques and strategies, but it ignores a much simpler biological truth about thinking. Your brain is not separate from your physical body. Mental clarity depends directly on physical energy. In Japan, there is a word called genki. It refers to your natural life force, your vitality and balance. When someone asks, "Genki desu ka?" they mean more than mood. They are asking whether your spirit and body feel strong. Modern productivity culture often ignores this basic reality completely. People chase optimization hacks while sleeping 4 exhausted hours nightly. They drink caffeine instead of nourishing their bodies properly. Then wonder why their focus constantly collapses. But deep work demands a brain operating at full capacity. That requires sleep, movement, and real nourishment daily. 8 hours of rest restores cognitive processing and emotional regulation. Simple walking improves blood flow and mental clarity dramatically. These habits sound ordinary, almost boring compared to trendy productivity hacks, but they form the biological foundation behind every focused mind. Without energy, no strategy or system can save your attention. You cannot pour from an empty cup. The quiet practice of daily reflection. There is one final Japanese practice that completes this entire system. It's called makuso, a moment of silent reflection. Martial artists sit quietly after training to review their performance, not to judge themselves harshly, but to understand improvement. At the end of each day, take just a few minutes. Ask yourself 3 simple questions about your experience. Did you complete your highlight? How focused was your attention? What helped you and what distracted you? This reflection creates something psychologists call a learning loop. Small daily adjustments slowly refine your habits over time. You become more aware of what truly supports deep work and what silently sabotages it. Improvement stops being random and starts becoming intentional. One tiny insight each day compounds into powerful long-term clarity. The moment everything changes. So let's return to the problem we started with. That exhausting feeling of always being busy but never progressing. It was never about laziness or weak discipline. It was about how your environment shaped your attention. The Japanese method reveals a quieter path toward meaningful productivity. Choose one meaningful highlight each day. Remove distractions before they attack your focus. Protect your energy so your brain can think clearly. And finally, reflect calmly each evening without harsh judgment. Notice patterns, learn gently, adjust tomorrow slightly better. Small improvements compound faster than dramatic bursts of motivation. Your brain was never broken. It was simply trained inside a noisy, distracted environment. But once you understand this pattern, everything begins shifting. And once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it.